Good evening. Good evening. It is Friday, but you may be watching this in the morning. You may be watching it Saturday morning, any other day of the week. Welcome. Let me just say this. I want to start with just saying a reminder that purposeful leaders must engage with a huge number of requests, a big array of requests and appointments and meetings and speaking engagements and delivering outcomes and ideas. And one of the keys to being successful is being able to handle all of those appointments efficiently. And it is so crucial to get balanced work and being successful. And our booking calendar, our booking system can be a great assistant. And so tonight, I want to guide you through a 4-step workflow process to help you build out your system specific to you. Welcome. I am Florence Donald. I'm a productivity practitioner who helps business owners and purposeful leaders fix the friction in your systems. And tonight, I want to do just that. I want to help you with these tools and these workflows. Glad to have you in the building with me this evening. And tonight wraps up this month of May, talking about booking calendars. The first 4 weeks, we've talked about the various components and elements and what to do and why to do, things to consider. And tonight, we're going to be putting them all together in this workflow. I help you, by the way, through video coaching and tutorials and live streaming. And we want to go ahead and dive into the material tonight. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to talk about this 4-step process, and I'm going to start with this. We're going to talk about designing the design process. I use this concept from my profession, designing what you want to do before you do it. In productivity, if you've read many books whatsoever, you may have read this concept of it happens on paper before it happens in reality. That is another way of looking at the design process. Second, we want to talk about the build. This is the doing. Most of us, myself included, love to jump into just doing first. But that first step of designing and writing it out in whatever way you choose is critical. Once we go through the build, we've built it, we've created the thing. Then we want to test it. Does it work? Where is it smooth? Where is it not smooth? You hear me if you've ever listened to a video from me or watched a video from me. I talk about doing an assessment consistently, evaluating. Testing is a way to do the assessment. Did what I designed, did what I build, does it work? Does it need any tweaking or updates or anything? The last step is publishing those events so that your community, your clients, your family members know how to book with you. But before they get to being able to book with you, you go through those other 3 steps. So design, build, test, and then publish. Those are the steps we're going to go through tonight. So I want to say hello to a couple of folks who are out here with me in the building, and you're saying hello. So I want to acknowledge you and recognize you. Good evening. Good evening. Frank Jackson, so glad to have you in the building, y'all. Spoiler alert. This is one of the things we're going to work on. Frank is actually live with me backstage. So we're seeing each other. We can wave at each other and make faces at each other. So that's good. Welcome, the Emotional CEO. Yes, happy Friday, Live Tribe. And if you are listening and not able to comment, great, fantastic. He's waving at me. Fantastic. So glad to have you here on Friday. It's a part of the Live Tribe. And good evening, Miss Inanea. So glad to have you here with us. And I think I saw somebody else slide in here. I did. Hey, Roy, hope all is well. I know yesterday you were trying to help someone, so good to see you in the building with me. So I'm going to dive in. I'm going to go through the material and see, I'm still goofing up, but it's okay. I have a good sense of humor, y'all. So just so you know, I don't let this stuff drive me crazy. Let me do one thing here on technology side of the house. I want to take care of that. I did. So, um, oh yes, he is. Frank is giving the meaning of Live Tribe a new, giving Live Tribe a new meaning. Yes, he is, and I want to expand that in the coming weeks and months with everybody. And so I'm going to jump right in and we're going to start with this design process. What is this whole design process? What are the steps? What are the workflow? So, a workflow is just a way to go through. So, step one is the design process, and there are sub steps within the design process. And that's what I want to go through those sub steps for specifically for you to think through and work through building your own workflow for how you create these bookings. You know the components, you know the software and things, but now it's putting it all together. So, one consideration is developing your event types. If you recall, last week I talked about one on one meetings, in prior weeks, one on one meetings, multi person meetings, webinars, courses, paid, and free. Make Be intentional about which ones are of those you want to create. Just write them down. You don't need any special software. You can use Microsoft Word, you can use Apple Notes, you can use a pen and paper. Just write down do I need to do a free appointment? Do I need to do a pay appointment? Do I need to do one-on-one appointments? Do I need to do group appointments? Just write down the types that you need to set up that are going to serve your purpose. That's step one. Get those down on paper so you can see them and you know what you're going to build. The second thing is then figure out for each of those types, what are the questions you want the person booking with you to answer so that you collect the data, the information that you need to make appropriate decisions as well as to prepare for this upcoming meeting, whether again, one on one, whatever type it is. Figure out what those questions are, write those down. Again, you don't have to use a particular piece of software, whatever you use today that you are familiar with and it works for you. You just want to get it out of your brain and put it in an external place where you can see it. You also want to think about if your system allows you to use graphics, thumbnails, designing what you want those graphics or thumbnails to look like. Cheat code here for me, because as y'all know, I tell you all the time, I do not have a design bone or cell in my body. Not, I don't even pretend. But if you can find images that inspire you, that speak to what you think you want to see, use that as a starting point. Just grab them all and put them someplace where you can see them. So get that design out. Now, if you happen to be a designer or you aspire to be and you want to tackle it, you can go ahead and start scratching out or laying out what that's going to look like. The next one is if your software supports having video as a part of the booking, then you want to design or lay out what you want the video to say. I would say it's going to be pretty short, less than probably uh, 10 to 15 seconds, but be intentional about what you want those words to be. Turn that camera back on. He messing with me, y'all. He's messing with me. But design what you want that to be. Make those decisions early. And then we get down to, you know what the event is? You know what questions you want to ask? You know what a little bit about what your graphics are going to look like? You know if you're going to be doing video, what you're going to say. Now write the event description. Somebody, if you do any kind of social media, if you do any kind of video content, this should sound really familiar to you. But write what that description is. When the person goes to book the appointment with you, what are they going to see to tell them what they're booking, what they're scheduling? That's what this is about. Writing that description in this design process, at least a good draft of it. Then you want to think through, once the person schedules or persons schedule the meeting with you or the event with you, what information do you want to send them in preparation? Design what I call this post-booking email campaign, whether it's one email or multiple emails, whether it's reminders or additional information and resources you want to send them, or things you want them to think about. Whatever it is, get those written out. Again, you're not putting it in an email, you're just writing it in whatever you write in, whatever word processing, note-taking tool you use. A paper book will work. But get it written out and design it. Say, okay, if I got multiple emails I want the person to get, email number 1 is doing this, email number 2 is doing this, number 3 is doing something else. So you want to get all of this pre-work done pretty quickly. It should not take you days and months. It should be pretty quick. And you're not trying to think of every type of event you're ever going to build. Just think of a few to get you started. If you have 1 or 2 that you're already in mind, just go through this workflow and you'll be good. From a design standpoint, if any of these are not applicable, then you adjust your workflow to take out what is not applicable to you. If you would never do video scripts, then don't include video scripts in your workflow. If you will not do custom graphics for each event type, don't put it in your workflow. But these are ones that, from my experience, I had to learn to think through before I went into the software and just started clicking buttons and putting information in. So that's helping you. Let me know. And if you have a question, as the team has said, if you have a question, please put a Q colon in front of it and let me know, because there will be a section this evening where I'm going to answer community questions. So Q colon and ask your question. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so that you know you can help send this out and get it out. And I actually have links in the description of the video. One of them is to book a call with me. It'll go right there and let you book it. I did exactly what I'm talking about tonight. So that information is available to you. You can come back to it at any point that it's convenient to you, because those are not going to change. There you go. So let's move on. Now that you've done the design, you've done this pre-work, you've thought, you've written, you're ready to go. Now you're into the build. This is where you're doing the thing. You're putting it into your booking software, whatever booking software you use. But the first thing is, if you have videos, go ahead and record and edit those videos and have them done and out of the way. Now, some people may want to put this in the design. I put it in build because I'm creating at this point. So record, edit videos if that's appropriate for you. Then you want to assemble any graphics. So we talked about designing. So if you built your graphics, you've designed them, just assemble them, put them in one folder on your computer where you know where they all are. Some are not in one folder and some place else, and some on one computer, some are in the cloud. And when you get ready to put it all together, you got to now go pull all of that together and assemble it. Just assemble them in one place where you can get to them quickly. Then you want to go into the booking software, whatever you chose to use, and start to build each event in the booking software. So all that stuff that you did before, the type of event, I didn't say the name of the event, the description, the videos, the graphics, the questions. You're going to build each one of those event types in your booking software one by one. That's your build process. You're not testing, you're not sending it out to anybody. You're just, at this point, as in IT, we call this is time on task. This is you're just executing the task at this point. So that's your stage of build. You've done your design, you go through your build. Again, my encouragement to you is if you're not doing videos, don't include this video step in your workflow. If you're not using graphics, don't include the graphics in your workflow. Include the components that are relevant for you in this process, okay? Then we're going to go to testing. You built. This is one that test, and test again. Once you've built it, you want to test, but if where possible, you don't want it to just be you, because it's like writing. Most writers who are successful, they have editors, someone else who didn't do the original writing to look over, edit what those words that they wrote. Copy editors, all kind of editors. So testers are the same. Select not a bunch, one or two people that you trust and ask them to be a part of your test team, that they will test these events for you early and give you feedback. So once you know who those people are, you've got to give them instruction on what it is you're looking for, how they're going to give feedback to you, and what you're going to do with it. Okay? Then you're going to let them test, and you're going to gather up all that feedback, whether it's an email, text messages, whatever you use to collect the feedback. Someone says to you, the title doesn't make sense. Or someone says to you, that video was too long. Or someone says to you, the link didn't work. Thank you, Inanea, the link didn't work. Whatever they're telling you, you're gathering it. So now you can go back, make updates, and correct the things that your testing team gave to you. I'm ignoring you. He over here misbehaving, y'all. Misbehaving. So that's your test phase, is to select your testers, give them instructions, let them test, collect their feedback, and then go through and make your update and corrections based on the feedback. The next stage is this: you, after all of that, you're finally ready to put it out into the world. I call it the publication process. And so this one is the exciting piece. And these are all the places where are the places you're going to put it? Are you going to put it on your website? Are you going to put it in video descriptions? Are you going to put it in your email newsletter or send out an email campaign? Earlier during your design, I said, think about your email campaign. Well, now it's the time to trigger that if you're going to use it. Are you going to put something out in social media? Maybe not for everything, but for a few things, maybe just for one. And then, are you going to use the software's booking directory if there's one? You don't have to, but you may choose to do so. That's the process. One is, again, it's design, build, test, and then publish. Going through those 4 phases and the steps within them, document what makes sense for what you're doing, and then you will be ready to go. That's the easy way to build a workflow. And if you build a workflow, then each time you get ready to create a new booking type, it's just rinse, repeat. It's rinse, repeat, do it over and over and over again. You have consistent input, you expect to get consistent output, and you don't have to reinvent it and figure out what you're doing and what process you're following and what steps you're following each time. So that is the basic concept of building your workflow to make all of these pieces and parts applicable and how you can apply them. Doesn't whatever type of event you're using, whatever booking software you're using, these processes will work. They're not tied to a particular software or anything else. So, if anyone has questions, I hope you put a Q colon in front of it. It is time for community questions. I'm going to come and look and see if anybody had a question. If nobody had a question, we're going to get out of here a little bit early tonight. Well, maybe, yeah, a little bit, a couple minutes. Q colon, let's see. I'm putting in Q colon instead of looking for Q colon. So no one has asked a question. Did anybody have any comments? So let me just tell you, I'm going to put this up here just because I can. Frank wants to know if the testers will get paid. That's up to you, whether you want to pay your testers or not. But it's something to think about if you want to pay people to be testing. There are people in your life, however, who that's not what they expect. But if you roll like that, go for it. I would not turn down the coins if you offered them to me, just saying. So, that's it, y'all. I have covered what I wanted to wrap up this month. I do have one or two announcements. If you go to florencedonald.live, you will see our new website that is officially launched out into the world. Now you can book appointments, you can join the community, you can learn more about me, you can learn more about what we do, you can see some of the resources that we have available and grab those. You can see the tools that we recommend on the site. You can see things like a list of books that I read and recommend, the gear that I use. You can see all of that now in one place. Go into the website. This is version 1. It will grow and morph and change as you engage. I do want to encourage you, if you are not a part of the member group, the membership, the community, I would encourage you consider joining the community, because more and more, like some of this backstage things, that's where the community is going to be able to engage a little bit more with me and with the team here. So I'm excited that we got this piece done and it is out into the world. Thank you, Inanea. That's so nice of you saying yay and give me balloons. Yes, it's been a long time coming. A long time coming. So I don't see questions this evening, and I don't see any other comments either. I'm just double checking to see if there are any. Hold on. I do have a question. I think it doesn't have a Q colon in front of it. Can you review the topics that you... Okay, Frank, can you talk to me? Because I don't understand the question. Can you review the topics that you brief for the month of May? Somebody help. It's it. Can you review the topics that you brief? Are you saying, can I go over the topics that I went through in May? I'm trying to understand. I mean, like I talked about 5 different, if that's it, I talked about 5 examples of booking software. I walked through how to build events. Great. How to build events. I talked about why you would want to set up a booking system. Hold on. Go back on mute, Frank. Thank you. I talked about why you would want to and when you would need it. when having booking software is useful for you as well. So those were the course parts of it. And I showed both free and paid tools that you could use, Mac only, cross platform tools that you could use. And then today wrapped it all up by saying, here's how to build a workflow and here's some steps to consider to build your workflow. And that's really the month. I'm glad you guys hung out with me for the month. So glad to have you here. It's nice. I enjoy it. So with that, I'm going to say we are finished. I'm going to have a video right here and you can watch it, but I'm glad to have you here. Watch the video. That'll be right here. And we will catch you next week and we'll be in a whole new topic. Good night, everybody.